Hello, everybody, and welcome to the United Stand. I'm filming this on Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day to everybody across the United Stand community. And obviously, this will go out tomorrow, but I just wanted to say happy Valentine's Day because I'm not going to be on the channel today, so I'll put it across there to all of you for tomorrow. But we're joined by FABRIZIO Romano for another interview. Hopefully, we'll get some good information that you can all take on for the following week. And FABRIZIO, how are you today?
I bet I'm good. Thank you. Have a nice week and super happy to be here. Thank you again for the invitation.
Yeah, we love having you on here because obviously we get to know more about Manchester United and what's going on behind the scenes, which is a lot what the United fans at the moment are wanting to hear. A lot of things are up in the air with Manchester United, the players, contracts, the manager. And first of all, I just wanted to get your views and opinions on the manager situation. There's been lots of leaks, lots of talks. Apparently the players want Pochettino with leaks coming out of the club. Apparently Rangnick is preferred to want to go to Ten Hag. There's also opportunity that Rangnick could possibly get the job as well. At the moment, is it possible that Manchester United are going to appoint someone before the end of the season? And who is it looking likely to be? What are the options? And is Rangnick going to be involved in that decision?
Yes, Rangnick will be involved in the decision 100%. He will be part of the board starting from June. So he will be involved in the decision. And this is something that they already discussed when they hired him as new interim manager. So they told him they wanted Rangnick to be involved in the decision and to be key part of the project also for the future. So this is why they're going to decide together with Ralf Rangnick. Of course, it's going to take some time. So to answer your question, I think there is a possibility that they will decide who will be the new manager before the end of the season, because they are in the process to talk and to decide together. So the names you mentioned are in the list. As we know, as we said many times here, Mauricio Pochettino, Erik ten Hag are different kind of managers. So they want to be 100% sure of the decision they will take with Ralf Rangnick and also with the other members of the board. Of course, it's not only Ralf Rangnick to decide. So they will need to meet with the whole board and decide together. They will need to decide also looking at the reaction of these managers, what kind of projects they want to do. And also, we can't exclude that they will go for a different candidate, because at the moment, nothing has been decided. It's not 100% Pochettino or 100% Erik ten Hag. It's still an open race for Man United job, and this is why we have to wait a bit. But I think the process has started now. They are discussing internally. They are looking at options. And so I'm sure that they want to arrive at the market, the summer market, already with the new phase of the project, already with a new manager ready to be involved in the decisions also for the new signings, because it's important to have the manager once the market will start to begin with a new project.
So thinking about what you just said there about appointing a new manager in the summer, do you think it's very likely it is going to be somebody outside the club and Rangnick's not going to take this job on for another year or so, like he said he might have done beforehand?
What we can say is that 100% Rangnick would love to keep his job and to be Man United permanent manager. He always said about it, and this is also what he said to the board when he was appointed in December. What he said is, I would love to stay. I would love to be the face of the new project, but at the same time, they want to be 100% sure of the next season. They know how important is the manager for the future project. Man United need a shock. They need something different. They need something fresh. And maybe it could be with Ralf Rangnick, who knows? But at the moment, the situation is still open. So I can't say that 100% he has no chances to be the new manager, the future manager. But at the same point, at the moment, they are thinking of Pochettino, they are thinking of Ten Hag, and it means that it's an open race, and these managers are in the list for Man United. Of course, as always, in the board of top clubs, you have fans of Pochettino and fans of Ten Hag, so different kind of manager, different kind of project, different kind of approach also on the system they want to play for the future. We have to see what happens with Paris Saint-Germain, because maybe Pochettino will win the Champions League with PSG, and so he will stay in Paris. I think it will be difficult for Pochettino to stay in Paris next season. It's really complicated, but never say never in football. Ten Hag is doing great with Ajax. So there are many factors. We're still in February. I'm sure that it will take some time. It's not February or March, the month to decide who will be the new manager.
I 100% agree with you on the fact that Manchester United need a fresh start and they do need a shock and they need something fresh. So hopefully we'll see that happen in the summer, like you mentioned. But in the summer, it's not only the manager that needs to start afresh. A lot of the squad is going to be moving on, and we're going to be hopefully looking at getting some replacements in and new people in. We've spoke about the midfield many times on the United Stand with you, and obviously what the options that Manchester United will be looking at. But Pogba moving on in the summer is a possibility, and we've just heard recently that Youri Tielemans is not going to extend his contract with Leicester. He's looking to move on. Do you think that he will stay in the Premier League, and would United be interested in going for Youri Tielemans? And other names such as Declan Rice, he'll be moving on this season. Is Champions League an option that he would have to have for moving on to another club?
I think for Pogba, we always hear different things. I still remember in September, we had rumors of Pogba is going to sign a new deal in a few weeks. And then in December, they started saying that he's 100% leaving the club because of Solskjaer. We always had many different kind of rumors around Pogba. The answer I'm always receiving when I ask about Paul Pogba is he has not decided yet. So it's not something decided. Of course, we are in February, and so it means that he's not convinced about staying at Man United, because if he was convinced, he was already signing the new contract. But at the same point, he has not decided. So I can't say that 100% Pogba will leave Man United. It's a possibility, yes, but it's not something sure. It's something that he wants to wait to decide for. He knows how important is this decision for his future. And so I will keep the situation of Paul Pogba still open. But of course, there are chances for him to leave the club. You're asking me if he's staying in the Premier League. It's not easy. It's not easy because at the moment I'm told that he's not in negotiation with any Premier League club. So if will be Premier League is not something started in February or in January, maybe in the coming months. Never say never with free agents. But at the moment, it's still quite on Premier League for Paul Pogba. And it's quite also with other clubs. We know that Paris Saint-Germain had an interest last summer and they are a big fan of Paul Pogba. But at the moment, it's not something agreed. Let's see what happens with Spanish clubs, with Italian clubs, because Juventus have always been interested in Pogba, but it's about his salary that is complicated. So it's absolutely open for Pogba. And we can say that Man United are 100% going to lose Paul Pogba because he's not decided yet. Of course, it's a possibility, but he's not decided yet. And talking about Declan Rice, he will be in the list 100%. He's a player that Man United have in the list, but not only Man United. Man City, Chelsea, many clubs are involved in this process because we're talking about one of the best midfielders in the world. We know also how complicated it will be to negotiate with West Ham. They want more than 85, 90 million for Declan Rice. So it's not going to be easy for Man United or for any other club who want him. So it's not going to be an easy one for Declan Rice, but I'm sure that he will be in the list. And I'm sure that Man United will sign a new central midfielder in the summer because it's one of the priorities they have. So we have to consider that they will go for a midfielder.
Especially since what happened with the Lingard stuff with West Ham. West Ham not going to let us have Declan Rice for cheap, are they? Let's be honest, they're probably going to try and get every penny out of us that they can. And just on that, with Youri Tielemans going out of contract, is he an option for Manchester United as well?
Who you mean? Sorry, I lost the name.
Tielemans.
Tielemans is a fantastic opportunity for many clubs. He's out of contract in 2023, so they will need to negotiate with Leicester. I will keep an eye on English clubs, but not only on English clubs, to be honest. I think it will be an opportunity maybe also for Spanish clubs, or for sure Premier League is the most likely destination. I was speaking about this situation with my sources a few days ago. They told me that 100% Tielemans will not sign a new deal with Leicester. It means that he will leave the club in summer 99.9% because they don't want to lose the player as free agent in 2023. We have to understand about the price because they always ask it around 60 million for Tielemans. And maybe now with this contract situation, 40, 45, 50 million could be the price for Tielemans in the summer. I'm sure that many clubs will be in the process to sign him. Let's see about the manager, because talking about Man United means talk about the manager. There are many candidates for the midfield. There are, for example, in my opinion, Tielemans is linked to Pogba's future. He's not a defensive midfielder. He's a quality midfielder, and so it depends on Pogba. If Pogba will leave the club, maybe Tielemans could be one of the options in the list. If Pogba is staying, of course, maybe it's different. Talking about Tielemans, I keep the situation open because nothing has been decided. His agent is speaking with many clubs and has many possibilities. So there is a lot of interest around this boy. Let's see if Man United will decide to jump into it. It would be an interesting one. I personally love this player. I think it would be perfect for any top club in Premier League and also in other countries, in other leagues.
Me too. I've really rated Tielemans for quite a while, actually. And when he went to Leicester, I knew he was going to do well. And then obviously he's blossomed even more. So if Pogba leaves, like you said, more of a box-to-box midfielder, it'd be a good one for Manchester United to bring in. And he could step it up even further. But obviously moving on from the midfield, a area of Manchester United that we've had problems with for quite a few years now. We've had forwards, but we've not had an out-and-out centre forward for Manchester United that's really going to take Manchester United forward. Rangnick's mentioned that Cavani is obviously going to leave this summer, and we knew that was going to happen anyway, and that he wants a young striker to come into the team and carry this team forward for quite a few years. Is Manchester United, for one, going to go for a centre forward in the summer? And is Haaland really realistic considering the state that Manchester United are in? And if he's not, then is there any other names that are being thrown about at the moment?
I think Haaland is not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy because at the moment there is still nothing concrete or advanced between Man United and Erling Haaland. So I think it's going to be more than complicated. Than never say never in football. There is a release clause, so we have to keep everything open. But at the same point, it's not something easy for sure. They will go for a striker, as Rangnick mentioned. They want a young striker. They need, again, something fresh, not just on the bench, not just as a manager, but also on the pitch. And a striker is needed. Rangnick said it's obvious, and it means that they are already planning for that position. It also means about the manager, to understand who will be the new manager, because, for example, Ten Hag loves kind of striker. Mauricio Pochettino has different kind of striker in his mind. So it's completely different to decide for the manager or for the other one. This is why they have not decided who will be the new face of the project. Today we had some rumor about Nkunku, that is a player that is doing great with Leipzig, former Paris Saint-Germain player, and Rangnick is a super fan of this boy. But we have to understand what they will decide with the new manager, not just what Rangnick will decide. For sure, he's a player that is super appreciated by Ralf Rangnick, but they have many options, and it will depend on the new manager. But they will 100% sign a new striker. They will go for something that they hope to do for the future, not just for the present, but also for the future. They need a young one. They need a fresh one. And they know, as you mentioned, that Edinson Cavani will leave. Cavani has already decided that he will try something different in the summer. He has maybe some options in La Liga, but he wants to be respectful. This is something I want to clarify, because I see reports about Cavani every single day, and it's true that, as we said here many times, he's going to leave the club as free agent, but at the same point, he wants to be professional. He had the opportunity to go to Barcelona in January, and when Rangnick spoke with him, he decided to stay. He decided to be committed to Man United, to give his best for Man United till the end, and so now is not time for Cavani to decide about his future. It's going to be in the coming months, but he will give his best for Man United till the last day.
Yeah, that's good news for us as well as Manchester United fans, because obviously you know that Manchester United fans absolutely love him, and it'll be a shame when he leaves, but he's done well for us since he's been here. And speaking of getting a new striker in, if a new striker does come in the summer, where does that leave Ronaldo if he does stay, which I'm guessing he is looking to stay at the moment?
Yes, this is a good question. I think in modern football, and this is what the season also of Man United showing, you need many players. If you want to compete in Premier League, in Champions League, in domestic cups, you need many players, not just one. Also because Cristiano is not super young, let's say like this. He's always a legend. He's always incredible, but at the same point, he also needs some rest sometimes. And so it's normal to have another striker that maybe is growing up with Cristiano, together with Cristiano in the coming season, and then explode as Man United start in the season 2022 to 2023, 2024. So it's normal to have this kind of process in top clubs. I think it's not that you have Cristiano and you can't sign any other striker. I think also Cristiano understands about the situation, and he's open. He's a very smart guy. He's not stupid, like saying, okay, I am the king and I don't want any other striker around. He knows that it's helpful for Man United, and for him as Cristiano himself, it's important to have another striker helping, giving him some rest, helping the team, helping to get the results, because Cristiano can't be the only solution for Man United. And I think this season is showing that they need something else. They need another striker. They need another midfielder. They need something else if they want to compete at top level in all the competitions. And this is what they will try to do in the summer, to sign a new top young striker and to sign an important midfielder, because they need players in that positions.
100%, especially watching the games recently. I mean, I'm sure you've seen our bench at the moment. It's not looking very good, especially in terms of squad depth. I mean, you're at a 1-1 draw and you've not really got much firepower to bring on. 100% it's a squad game, and we're going to need people to be coming in the summer. And obviously a part of the pitch that usually is only down to one person, and one person takes that role on for the rest of the season, is the goalkeeper in David De Gea. Obviously, there was a debate between De Gea and Henderson. Henderson's not really had a look in all season. He obviously had the FA Cup game, but then we all went out of that, so he's not really going to get much of a chance. He was touted to come in and be Manchester United's number one. That didn't happen. He had COVID. David De Gea started the season as number one, and he's had an incredible season as Manchester United's number one goalkeeper, especially with his reputation behind him. De Gea's new contract being rumoured to be on the table and being discussed. Where does that leave Henderson? Is it going to be the fact he's going to look to move on and De Gea carries on as number one, and we possibly get someone in who wants to be the second choice keeper and knows he's the second choice keeper? And what is the situation with the goalkeepers at the minute?
Yes, for sure, Dean Henderson wants to play. This is something I already said in December, and it's still the same. He wants to play. He wants to be a starter. His idea has not changed, so he hopes to have a new opportunity. And he knows that the Man United, as you mentioned, De Gea is doing fantastic. He's doing great, and so he knows that he can play as a starter at Man United. This is why Henderson wanted to leave in January, but it's not like wanting to leave to disrespect Man United. He just wants to play football, and I think it's normal. For goalkeepers, it's completely different situation than normal players. So this is why he was looking for solutions. His agents were looking for solutions. We had rumors about Ajax, but were not true. Same about Newcastle swap deal, was nothing serious with Man United. But talking about Henderson, he was hoping to go in January, and he still hopes to go in the summer to have an opportunity to be a starting goalkeeper, and maybe one day be back at Man United as a starting goalkeeper and to have another opportunity. But as of today, his priority is to be a starter elsewhere. Also because, as you mentioned, for De Gea, Man United are very clear. They want him to be the goalkeeper also for the coming years. He's doing fantastic. They will discuss his contract in the coming months. It's not something already discussed now, but in the coming weeks, months, they will open discussions with De Gea. And so I think it's absolutely normal for Henderson to look for some opportunities around. It's something that he wants, and is normal for an important goalkeeper as he is. I think it will be a very open market for goalkeepers in the summer, with many clubs in Italy, in England, in Spain looking for new goalkeepers. And so he will have some opportunity. I'm sure that they will find a way for him.
Does De Gea want to stay with Man United as well and carry on, obviously, because he's got such a great legacy here?
Yes. The guy is super happy now, but I think you can see also on the pitch now his performances are great. Also because the atmosphere around him now is very good with the teammates, with the fans. So the guy is super happy with his Man United life. Of course, when you discuss this kind of contracts, let's remind that the salary of David De Gea is a very big one. It's a very huge one. So this is why when we had rumors last summer about De Gea going to Roma or other clubs, I always told you that it was more than difficult because of his salary. Clubs like Roma or Italian clubs in general, they can't pay for the salary of De Gea. And also in Spain, it's very complicated. So to discuss a new contract now for Man United means that they have to find the right structure. It's not going to be a quick negotiation. They have to find the right structure to make De Gea happy, but also to have a good balance with the financial situation of David De Gea and his salary. But I'm sure that his intention is to continue with Man United. So they will meet, they will be at the table, they will discuss, and they will try to find a solution. But De Gea is happy with Man United, and Man United are happy with De Gea. Also in the dressing room, he's super respected. All teammates are super happy with him. And when you have this kind of players, they're really positive for the atmosphere and not just key players on the pitch. This is something that you have to protect. They need players like De Gea for the future.
Exactly. Maybe he'll break the record for highest paid goalkeeper again, push it up even further. I can't believe what he gets paid, but that's just Manchester United, isn't it, for you? And a player that we've spoke about many times, and we said that we thought if he left Man United, he'd go on and do well. I mean, he's only played one game, but that's more minutes than he's played for Manchester United all season. He's Donny van de Beek for Everton. Obviously, the Everton fans loved his game. I watched him. I thought he played really well in the position he was supposed to play. And I thought for a first game back, when he's not played regular football in a long time, I thought he did really well. And I was thinking to myself, why has Manchester United not used him sooner? With Donny's loan spell at Everton, is the plan for him to come back to Manchester United in the summer and start fresh and carry on with Manchester United? Or do you think the bridges are burned and possibly too much water has gone under the bridge for that to happen, and he'll look to move on, especially getting 90 minutes of football? I mean, that's a lot for a player who wants to have game time, and that it's a good opportunity for him to get game time as well.
No, I think the plan is clear after they decided not to include a buy option with Everton, and they really wanted it because Frank Lampard was insisting to have also an important buy option, but the answer from United was no. The plan is to have Donny back and then to decide in the summer. So I think there are chances to see Donny van de Beek in the squad for the coming season. But it depends on the manager. I think, for example, if the manager will be Ten Hag, he knows Van de Beek, and so it could be a perfect match. If the manager will be another one, I don't know if Pochettino or another one, maybe they will decide together for something different. It's just my idea. I'm not saying that what is going to happen. Maybe Pochettino arrives and he says, I want Van de Beek to stay. So let's see. But it's up to the manager. It's really up to the manager because Van de Beek wants to play. So he will ask for guarantees in the summer. If he will have the guarantee to be an important player for Man United, I think he has chances to stay. If not, I'm sure that there are already clubs looking at Van de Beek as an option for the summer, and in this case, to sell him on a permanent deal, because in winter, in January, they accepted to do a loan move because Donny wanted to play, he wanted to be a starter, he wanted to play football again after 2 complicated years for him at Man United, but now he deserves to have some opportunities and then to be back at Man United and see what happens. But it will be up to the manager. It's not up to Donny, because Donny will be always respectful and professional. But Man United need to make a decision on this boy, and I agree with you. When he plays football, he's amazing. So they need to decide, and they need to decide together with Donny.
That's why we love him as well. His professionalism is unreal. And before I let you go, because obviously we know you're very busy, you've got to get off. Just the last question is, obviously fans are very unhappy with Maguire at the minute in the team. Bayern Jones looking likely to leave. Is it possible United go for a centre-back in the summer, or is the priority just on the striker and the midfield options?
At the moment is not a priority. So they're focused, as we said, on the striker and on the midfielder. But we are in February, so maybe the new manager jumps in March, in April, in May, and they say, okay, let's sign a new centre-back. This is a possibility, but at the moment it's still something quiet. Let's see, I'm sure that Man United will be ready. If they want a centre-back, they're following centre-backs since a long time. Before they signed Varane last summer, they had a list with many, many names. So they will be ready if the new manager will ask for a centre-back.
Thank you very much, Fabrizio, for joining me today and coming on. And obviously the viewers love to have you on, and we'll see you on the next show.
Thank you. Thank you as always, and see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
Well, guys, Fabrizio there, basically, let me get my green screen back in order because I don't like having them white bits in it. Basically, Fabrizio was saying, I think what we can all gather from that is it is down to what manager we appoint. And it's looking like, despite the rumours that Pochettino is the main candidate for the Manchester United job, that actually might not be the case. Fabrizio is very in the know on these things, especially when it comes to the manager situation. He's got them sort of contacts, and he's saying it's an open race. There's people on the Manchester United board that want Ten Hag. There's people on the Manchester United board that want Pochettino. I'm pretty sure Rangnick is, well, he said he's going to be involved in appointing the manager, and I'm pretty sure he has said, I think it's reports coming out that he's more on the Ten Hag side of things, and that he could see himself building a relationship with Ten Hag, which I can see. When obviously they don't play the same football, but I feel like they're a little bit more similar than the Pochettino, and Ten Hag is very respected in European football. I'm not saying Pochettino isn't, but I would see Ten Hag and Rangnick building that relationship. So, but also he said that there could be other candidates coming into the role. Personally, for me, I think it's going to be either Rangnick, Ten Hag, or Pochettino. And listening to what Fabrizio was saying, I doubt it is going to be Rangnick. We all know that how much he does want the job, and I rate Rangnick a lot. I'm not sure what you guys think. Obviously, you can comment down below, and I'll go and look through them when this goes live. But when I look at Rangnick, I just think he's so honest. He clearly wants the job. He's got a plan moving forward, but there is some red flags, and the red flags are the players are already coming out against him, which is completely ridiculous and disgusting. Gary Neville said he knows who the leaks are. I've just seen that this morning. And for me, it's like, if you know who the leaks are, who are the leaks? Because I think it's disgusting behaviour to come out against your manager that's only been in charge for a couple of months and say stuff like that just because you're not good enough to get game time under him. It's such a lack of professionalism. So players already not listening to Rangnick. He said about them not following the game plan all the way throughout the game and drifting at half time. That is an issue. So there are a few of the red flags that pop up with Rangnick, but that's to do with the players. That's us having soft players that have been disrespectful continuously towards managers and underperformed on the pitch. A lot of them players need to be shipped out. Rangnick's honest. He's renowned for building football teams, for having an eye for talent, bringing players in and establishing players and helping them grow as talents. And Rangnick said multiple times before he prefers players on the first or second contract, young players, because they've not got the egos and the hunger to play football. And I think that's what Rangnick needs. And he's obviously having to deal with egos in this Manchester United team, and whether he can get a tune out of him for the rest of the season. I think if the players follow him, then he definitely can. But it's going to be interesting to see how successful he is and who is going to be the next manager. From what Fabrizio said about him helping appoint the next manager, I'm assuming Rangnick is going to carry on with the club after summer, which we all said he was going to, even if he's not the manager. So obviously, if the relationship completely breaks down, that's not going to happen. But at the moment, I do think the plan is for Rangnick to carry on, which I love. We've talked about getting a director of football this morning, I think, on the 10 a.m. show. that's come to light that apparently Manchester United want someone to work under John Murtough to be possible director of football. I think that's something that we massively need. But when it comes to Manchester United, there's no hope in my head that that's going to be a genuine director of football that's going to do that role. For me, I always think there's an ulterior motive behind it. Is it a cover-up? Is it to shut the fans up? Is it someone to blame, a footballing guy for people to blame? That is what you automatically think as Manchester United fans with how poor our board and recruitment has been over the past few years, especially since Sir Alex Ferguson left the club. But interesting to see about summer targets. Midfielder and forward basically confirmed, which we all knew was going to happen anyway. Rangnick came out and said it's obvious that we need a centre forward, and it's been obvious for years that we need a centre defensive midfielder. And for me, it's got to be at least 2 midfielders, a centre defensive midfielder, and if Pogba leaves, a box-to-box midfielder. If Pogba doesn't leave, I'd actually go in and get 2 centre defensive midfielders. I think that's how low we are. And I can see us going all out for Declan Rice this summer after what Romano said. A lot of times we've spoke to Romano and he said Declan Rice is high up on our list. He's one of the players that Manchester United really, really appreciates. And he's just the type of player that you can see Manchester United going for. Young, English, in the England team. All the pundits love him. He's just someone that I can see Manchester United going for. And I rate Declan Rice. I think he's a very, very good midfielder. Is he overpriced? Absolutely. Ridiculously. And you just know that Manchester United are probably going to end up paying 100 million for him or something stupid like that. Because one, West Ham are not going to let us have him for under... They're going to make us overpay for him, basically. 2, is Manchester United tax, and 3, I mean, we might not even get Champions League football, which is going to be a hard bargain as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how we go about possibly getting Declan Rice in. But there's other players that are on the radar as well. Obviously, it's not the same position, but Tielemans, if Pogba leaves, is an option. I rate Tielemans highly, and I think he would be a good move to go to Manchester United. I think he would fill in the Pogba replacement very, very well. Obviously, he's not on the same level as Pogba. For me, Manchester United have to do everything to try and keep Pogba. The way he's been playing over the last few games, and this is a controversial one because not everyone sees Pogba as the way I see Pogba, and some people absolutely love him. Some people just want the saga to be over with Pogba. But watching him the last few games for Manchester United, he's our best player, talent-wise. He just is. And if he's playing like that, he's amazing. With better players around him as well, he's only going to take it up another level. Could that because he's putting himself in the shot window? Absolutely. He's just come back from injury, so you're probably going to see him carry it out for 90 minutes, the fitter he gets. At the moment, you're only seeing the elite Pogba for about 45 minutes because he's obviously getting his fitness back. But the way he takes the ball through the midfield, the way he's been keeping possession in the midfield, the passes he's been picking and have been poorly executed by players that simply aren't good enough. I think if he had better players around him on the end of the balls he was putting into them, we're talking about him a lot more over the last few weeks because I think he's unplayable. I think Manchester United have to get Pogba on a new contract, but if they don't, I think Tielemans is a good replacement to come in, especially if Donny van der Beek coming back. That can be a very good midfield that switches in and out with Tielemans, Bruno and Donny van der Beek. Fabrizio Romano mentioned Nkunku from Leipzig, a player that Ralph Rangnick really appreciates. Attacking midfielder, and obviously I think this is an option when Pogba leaves as well, and also an option just to build the squad depth of Manchester United, which at the moment is we don't have. Lingard's going to be leaving. Hopefully Mata will be going in the summer. So we're going to need players coming in, and Nkunku could be a really good squad player that can, like you said, it's a squad game. Players are going to need to come in off the bench. Players are going to need to be ready when they're needed. Players are going to start games. So I think he would be a good player to add to that Manchester United squad. But as Romano said, he can't confirm anything yet because he doesn't know who the manager's going to be. Pochettino or Ten Hag can come in and say, I don't rate Nkunku, and that isn't an option. But if Rangnick is involved, which I'm assuming he is going to be, I mean, considering he couldn't even get a £5 million signing across the line in January, there's little hope in summer. But Nkunku is definitely someone who Manchester United fans have to be watching out for because Ralph Rangnick really, really likes the player, and he's going to be gettable from Leipzig as well. He's gettable for Manchester United to do that deal. So that would be something that would be really, really interesting. And do you know what? it's going to be a busy summer for Manchester United, and I'm excited that we're all going to go through it together on the United stand as well. Who's going to come in? Who's going to be the manager? That's the first decision that needs to be taken, because as Romano said, no targets can be confirmed until the manager's in. And obviously, comment down below, is that worrying for you that we've not really got any targets confirmed? Obviously, there's names, as Romano was saying. Rice is a name. Haaland's a name, which 100% we're not going to get, by the way. I mean, I was asking him the question, but in the state that Manchester United is in at the moment, I even agree with Romano when he says that we need someone to come in, work with Ronaldo for a year. Even if Romano stays, not Romano stays, if Ronaldo stays and then move on and explode to be Manchester United striker. We obviously had that in Greenwood. That's not going to happen now. So we need someone to come in and do that. If Haaland comes in, I think it's going to cause disruption between Ronaldo and Haaland, because both of them strikers are going to be want to be starting. That means we'd have to play two up front, because Ronaldo's not going to be able to play on the wing. So I think getting Haaland's a complicated situation, and Haaland's not going to want to come to Manchester United in the state that we're in. He wants to go to a club that's ready to win things, and we're not at that point yet. So if anyone's hoping to get Haaland, I would not get your hopes up for that one. I think we're going to get a striker that is still a decent striker, and I trust not the recruitment process at Manchester United, but if they listen to Rangnick or possibly Ten Hag, if he comes in, I trust them to make that decision. I mean, if Pochettino comes in, you can see us going for Kane, can't you? You can just see that happening. So we'll just see what striker Manchester United goes with. But that is going to be an interesting one, because there's not a specific name at the moment that is really clear in Manchester United's in the news of Manchester United. So it'll be interesting to see how the striker story develops over the summer. And midfield as well. Declan Rice, that's going to be an expensive signing if we go for him. If not, there's obviously cheaper options out there that we can go for that are still good centre defensive midfielders. Kamara was an option in January that personally I thought we should have gone and got. There's other options out there. I mean, Zakaria was obviously, he's gone to Juventus now and he's doing very well. Zakaria was available for 5 million. There is players out there that you can go and get, but Manchester United, knowing the way that they go about things, it probably is going to be all out for Declan Rice, which I wouldn't complain at. I think Declan Rice is a good player, but there is other options if you wanting to spend your money elsewhere, which a lot of you guys will say that we need a centre-half, and I wouldn't disagree with you. I don't think Maguire should continue playing for Manchester United in the way he's been playing. And I used to say, oh no, he's going to come into form. Maguire's going to come into form. He's not come into form. And he's been, it feels like an age where he's been playing like this for Manchester United. And I'm just hoping a new manager comes in and there's a new captain, there's a fresh feel to it. And like Romano said, like, we need a fresh start, and it'll be interesting to see who we get in to start that rebuild and start that fresh start and get players out with this mentality and complaining, whingy players that I've fallen out of love with. I know you guys have fallen out of love with them. We just want players that play for the shirt, that are Manchester United quality, and it's a team spirit. At the moment, we know with Manchester United that there's leaks coming out, there's players being extremely disrespectful, there's players not running enough miles, and there's complete disconnect in the dressing room. A loss and 3 draws on the bounce as well, when you should have won each and every one of the games. You've got to look at the leadership. You've got to look at the captain. You've got to look at the squad depth from the bench. These are all situations that need addressing. Hopefully in the summer we'll see a big summer for Manchester United and we'll see things start to change. But obviously, guys, thank you so much for watching this interview with me. And obviously, I'm sorry it's not live, but we've got a lot of content coming up this week, and I'll see you on the next show, guys. But hopefully, we get Erik Ten Hag in the summer. Put down below what manager you want to get in, and we see Manchester United start to rebuild with an exciting squad.